Everything starts with a cute little kitten there, dude. The year is 2017 in the Gyeonggi region. The big guy is walking on the little roof, everyone's heading to school, and there's a dude with blue hair in the middle of all that. So when he comments that kid is weird, the friend in the alley of the vagabonds wants to know why. Bullhead says that's the new student who transferred recently, but he doesn't talk much. The friend asks, "What do you mean he doesn't talk?" He says it's kind of hard to explain, but it's something that goes beyond that. It's like the boy himself was silent, like deeply silent. The black-haired one still doesn't understand what he's talking about. Well, at that moment, a car passes. The protagonist looks to the side and seems to step in front of it. The driver has to slam the brakes and nearly runs him over, already cursing the bastard, wanting to know why he threw himself in front of the car out of nowhere. Our boy finally is just there, stoic, not saying a word. The black-haired guy wants to know why he threw himself in front of the car like that, and the bullhead says to take a look at his foot, man. The kitten was going to get run over and he stepped in front of it. The dude gets out of the car to go off on the kid. It's in his face and starts yelling, grabs him by the collar, saying that this damn student was a bastard, must have been trying to get into an accident on purpose to get compensation money later. The black-haired guy is there watching, saying that even so, the weird kid still doesn't say a word. His friend says he already told him, man, that kid has some kind of weird illness that kills him if he opens his mouth. Ever since he got here, he's been like that. At that moment, a girl from his school comes running and calls for the uncle, asking what happened. The girl gets closer, calls out to Ji-jin and asks if he's okay and what happened. The old guy says that this weird kid threw himself in front of the car. That was a very obvious strategy to get money out of others. The girl looks at our boy and says she thinks he must have had some reason. Then she starts bowing, saying she apologizes on his behalf and asks to let him go just this once. She shines while begging and the guy says fine, but there wouldn't be a second time. The black-haired guy in the alley asks why Yaina, the queen of class 5, wants to protect this kid. The other one holding the cat says, maybe it's because they're from the same class. This kid had barely arrived and was already tiring everyone out. He asked the kitten if it agrees, but the kitten turns and grabs him, dude. Right then it jumps down to run away and already the second one is there staring down the two of them. The fool is lying in the alley all bloody and gives a little wave to Ariam. She, however, just gives him a little stare and turns away, man. The friend asks why she seems to have such a cold aura. The fool responds that only made her even more attractive. Just like they had the goddess Yaina in class 5, they had Ariam in their class. The friend turns and says that wasn't attractive at all, he was just being ignored like a loser. The friend tells him not to worry too much, she was just a little shy. Maybe you could say she was an introverted but kind person. The only downside is that she really didn't talk much. The friend comments that apparently she was just like that weirdo who threw himself in front of the car. But Bullhead says not to compare her to that weirdo. The friend says okay, tells him to go clean up that blood while our boy is calmly heading to school. In the class it's a mess, people sleeping here and there while he's standing still in the middle, static, stoic, not moving his single hair. Everyone's talking, telling jokes, and he's just there, man in complete silence. Suddenly, he opens his eyes and there are some girls filming him saying that once again, he's meditating in the middle of the class. The two are there staring at him up close saying that he's been there a month now. And since the first day he arrived, he does that meditation every day. It was impressive. To celebrate a month since he arrived, she even took a little picture and wants to know what he thinks. If he didn't like it, he just had to click the delete button. She says he doesn't need to hesitate just because she helped him before. And then she says that since he won't delete it, that means she has permission to keep his photo and thanks him. Right at that moment, dude, someone opens the door. By the way, he gives off an intimidating aura. Man, you already know that one either came to get beaten up or to throw punches. He's not gonna stay quiet. The name of the bastard is Sisu Tatsu and he already comes with bullying in his name. Everyone looks back, dude. The jerk with the facial filler is just standing there facing everyone. He sees from afar all the girls asking for Jigen's photo, man, telling him to send it on WhatsApp. Then he notices it was our boy and says the vibe there looked pretty nice. He asked our guy why there are always Sony girls around him like that. To be honest, he says that he himself kind of looked like a girl. He grabs the guy's arm and says he should be a man, but that little arm was really feminine. What the? Is he touching his face, man? What is this? I thought the guy came looking for a fight, but I didn't think the fight he wanted was between four walls. He even says he might fall in love because he's so soft. Okay, Jigen is just standing there quietly, right? Just confused by this crazy guy, Yena tells the damn Tatsu to cut it out because nobody's laughing, but he messes with our boy's hair, saying he does it because he's too cute. Then he turns to Yena and says he invited her to go to karaoke yesterday, so why didn't she show up? She gives him a hard stare and says she went to bed early because she was tired and he should understand that since she sent a message. He says, though, that they had already made plans and that even if she was tired, she should have shown up. When her boyfriend calls, she has to go because he was tired of waiting. Dang, man, he already has Yena and now he wants our protagonist. Greedy, aren't you? He turns around saying that it's good she doesn't skip today and she says she'll see. Right then, another nerdy guy who probably doesn't get beat up enough pulls out a chair for him. Dude. The freeloader flops down and spits. Then class starts with the teacher talking about some Mediterranean civilization stuff. Sometime later, the boys seem to be playing a pretty honest foot volleyball game, and meanwhile, our boy is just sitting on the bench when someone approaches. Here comes Yena provoking again out of nowhere, saying it's way too hot. She sits real close, asking if he's not feeling hot too. She blows some breeze on his face, asking if he likes it and if he finds that refreshing. But he's just there, as always stoic. She laughs, saying it's ironic how he never says anything. Meanwhile, Tatsu is in the middle of the court, just glancing back, seeing his girlfriend acting like that toward another guy that wouldn't make anyone happy in this world. The problem is he got distracted. The guy on the other side gives a big kick to the ball and it lands right on his cheeks. Man, but the guy just tanked it and the ball went flying. Ronald Yu apologizes, dude, saying he was just trying to make a pass. Tatsu turns around saying now his face got wrecked, but he claps and says it's all good. That only happened because he wasn't paying attention and it's best to just keep the game going. At least the guy handled it maturely though at the same time he's just staring at Jigen in the background. A while after recess, our boy is on the rooftop, like always alone and quiet, when suddenly the door opens. Man. Dude, they cut to our dear Ronald Inho, who's apologizing, saying it was an accident. But Tatsu says he knows he'll only regret it after tasting a little blood. The poor guy's legs are all shaky and he's already on the floor, man. Right then, Jigen gets up and one of the guys glances back and gets startled. He asks what the hell that freak is doing there out of nowhere and then Tatsu says it looks like he's going to eat alone once again. He really was a weird kid. He goes to give the fool a haircut, saying he's about to make a masterpiece. He better pay close attention. The buzzer does its job and everyone's laughing, saying this is a perfect work of art. He shows it to our boy and asks what he thinks of the masterpiece. The poor kid is just left with two little tufts of hair. Everyone is cracking up while the guy wants to know what Jigen thinks. Obviously, he says nothing and Tatsu wants to know why he's not laughing. Then he gets closer and says that for a masterpiece to be perfect, the model's look was necessary and looking at the boy, he was sure he'd be perfect for that. Maybe it was time for him to create a masterpiece right there too. The buzzer gets closer and he asks if he doesn't want it. If he doesn't want it, he just has to say no. But if he doesn't say anything, that means yes. Obviously, our boy doesn't respond and he says it's decided then. He comes in with the buzzer, saying that now he's going to look more beautiful than ever. But suddenly, Tatsu's expression changes. He says it's best he be careful. Soon enough, he was going to cross a line and things would start to get weird. Then he raises the buzzer and says he won't cut it after all. He knows that if he shaves the kid's head, the girls are going to be on his case. So he turns around and tells everyone to leave. Meanwhile, the poor guy is left there with just two little hair tufts. He picks up his phone to take a look and sees the disaster that's left, takes a little photo saying he'll leave some evidence, but he's mad that those bastards could have at least finished the job instead of leaving those tufts. Suddenly, he looks back, stands up, and asks why Jigen isn't laughing. To be honest, he also thinks it's funny, so he can just crack up. But Jigen is just there stoic. The guy says he really is different from the others. If it were him sitting on that bench and he saw someone with a haircut, he'd die laughing. He steps away, saying he's thankful that our boy isn't laughing at his face. At the school exit, it's raining and everyone is at the entrance, waiting for the rain to pass, wondering if they'll get home soaking wet. Some at the front run out while Orium has her little umbrella. She glances to the side and sees Jigen calmly walking in the rain like it's sunny out. Suddenly, someone calls him. It's the little bullhead showing up, saying Tatsu wants to have a chat and it's best if he comes along. Right after that, the four of them are there waiting for him. Tatsu already says he was looking forward to seeing the great popular guy in class. He really was still looking beautiful after being soaked in the rain. This guy, man, I don't know if he wants to fight or if he wants to, never mind. Right then, Yuna turns and asks why he called Jigen there. Tatsu, however, tells her to calm down. He just wants to check something. Then he throws her phone to the ground and asks if he saw that. He wants to know why our boy's face is his girlfriend's wallpaper. Guess what Jigen did? Nothing, dude, just stood there in silence staring at Tatsu, who says he doesn't know if he's being petty, but he wants to understand this situation. To be honest, this Tatsu, aside from the haircut, is the most chill bully so far, man. He took a soccer ball to the face, didn't do much, just complimented our boy's looks, and really the one causing all of this is Yuna, who keeps flirting with our guy even though she has a boyfriend. And she even tells Tatsu that she's only using him as wallpaper because he has a cool vibe. The guy, obviously confused, asks if it's really just that. Yuna gets close to our boy, grabs him by the arm, and tells him to just go. This had nothing to do with him. She'd see him at school tomorrow, so it was best for him to leave. Then Tatsu asks why the bastard girl is taking the side of that damn bastard. She was even flirting in front of him. She turns, saying he's the loser. He needs to stop crossing the line. Holy hell, take back what I said. Tatsu slapped her hard in the face, my god. The girl spun like 380 degrees and even got blood on Jigen's face. Man, at that moment, he felt something strange inside. And Tatsu asks why the damn girl is siding with that kid in front of her own boyfriend. Then he gets in our boy's face and says that it looks like he already knows all the girls like him. He wants to know if, by any chance, he's interested in Yuna. She was pretty cute after all, even if she had a bad temper. If Juju were honest and said what he wanted, he'd even hand her over to the kid. He's sure he must be really into her, so just say it. Yuna, still on the ground, laughs at that whole thing about them being boyfriend and girlfriend. She wasn't with someone who throws parties and buys drinks for other girls and still makes bets on social media. He turns angry, saying he already apologized for that damn mess. It was his friends who invited and set up that situation. He wasn't to blame for any of it. Yuna says whatever, he wasn't worthy of being her boyfriend anymore, so it's over. Man, but then he hit her with Ronaldinho's kick right in the stomach. Even Jigen felt the pressure from the impact. Dude, the poor girl is trembling all over. All twisted, Yuna says that it really is the end for the two of them, that she must have been crazy in the head to ever date him. But he just grabs her by the collar and asks who gave her permission to break up with him. Okay, that's how it is, fine then. But she just says she doesn't care. He wants to hank her again, he can go ahead. He says fine then, they'd settle this now. But when he goes to punch her, man, his arm gets blocked. Jigen had thrown his shoulder over it and Tatsu wants to know what he thinks he's doing. Looks like Jigen really was interested in her. He goes into punch, saying he already warned him not to cross the line. And man, the punch lands square on his cheek. I thought he'd dodge, I thought he'd pull something epic. But Tatsu says he doesn't stand a chance. In our boy's mind, he remembers a blonde girl telling him to come to his senses. He snacks out of it, plants his feet, and manages to stay standing. Tatsu, though, goes in for another, wanting to know how the hell the bastard tanked that. Since that's how it is, he wouldn't hold back anymore. And man, hits him square in the solar plexus, the kind of shot that knocks anyone out, and I think it hurt. Or maybe not, because Jigen is just staring back cold. Tatsu goes in to throw another one, telling the bastard to die. But this time, Jigen dodges and lands a clean one on the jaw and not a hard spot to hit. Man, that one spun him like 3 times and he went face first into the asphalt. The friends are off to the side calling out to Tatsu, while Yuna looks shocked, asking what Jigen is doing. Well, defending himself, right girl. The fool's getting up, already spitting out a tooth, and then takes a snap kick to the chin. The friends try to step in, saying he must be asking to get beaten up. But man, if the main side character with a name has no chance, these poor guys are just taking dodges and jaw servings. One of them grabs a metal rod to hit him in the head, but takes a spin kick right in the chest. One more to the ground. Bullhead is just standing there, dude hasn't done anything up to now, while Tatsu just wants to know what the hell Jigen even is. He's just there, dude standing in the rain, staring like a demon, and takes another straight to the face. The fool groans, but gets another one man, punches flying until Yuna comes to stop him, saying if he keeps going, the guy's gonna die. He hesitates for a second there. Lightning strikes and he gets up all in swag mode. Dude, full on psycho face. Yuna calls out to him again, but man, he just throws on his backpack and walks off. Bullhead and the girl are left asking themselves what he even is. The story says some people could feel it. Behind Jigen's silence was a deep darkness. Then we see a bit earlier back when Bullhead called our boy. Ariam had heard all of it and saw him being taken to the alley. She thought it was suspicious, man, and decided to follow, curious little sneak. She peeked around and when she got there, all she could hear was our boy serving chin shots to everyone. From a distance, she could hear the bones cracking, dude, until something got close. Someone put a hand on the wall. It was our guy, all bloody. He glanced to the side and saw her hiding there. She gave a little look from under the umbrella. Trembling, she offers her little umbrella to him. But he gives her that classic stare, turns around and walks off. Man. Left her in the rain like a chump. Next day, full-on sunny day. The kids in class are wondering where the pretty boy and Taxu are. Why did both of them skip? The girls were already complaining, saying the place feels too empty without Jigen there. Meanwhile, Yuna, yeah, she knows it was her fault things ended up this way. Then the scene shifts to under a bridge. A guy says he doesn't even know what to think. Ever since he left, he's been drinking and partying like crazy. But now they're saying he ended up in the hospital. How does that make any sense? He tells the kid to just say it. What's his condition? Bullhead says his face is full of fractures and looks like he's gonna be in a hospital for a while. He even asked for no one to visit him because it's too embarrassing. The guy asks how many got beaten, and he says 4 people. That guy with the piercings, that's Kane Doyle. He says he's sure there's no way Taxu would lose physically. So who the hell is this person? Bullhead explains that it's a mysterious kid named Jigen, a student who transferred in but doesn't talk much or don't know much about him either. The angry guy asks if he's seriously saying they got beat up by some stranger. That's embarrassing. Right away, the big fat dude grabs him by the neck and asks why his face is intact if everyone else got beaten. The poor guy, trembling, says it's because he thought 5 against 1 would be too unfair. He thought the 4 of them would win. The guy slams him into the wall and says he's making stuff up. Then Kong wants to know what school this kid came from. Bullhead says nobody knows. To this day, he's never even heard of the guy's voice. He's like a mute. Takes another slap on the head, being called useless. The big guy then orders him to describe what he looks like. You better give details that make him easy to identify visually. Here we go, you already know, right? The guy's blushing says he doesn't want to admit it, but, well, he's like a handsome guy, like a model. He was handsome enough that all the girls kept talking about him. On top of that, he gave off the vibe of coming from a rich family. Not to mention, he had charisma and beautiful eyes. The guy slaps his back, asking what the deal is between the two of them and if he fell in love. Meanwhile, Kong is interested in a guy who just arrived, is extremely silent, and be up Taxu. Charismatic, good-looking, and also a good fighter. That's a rare combo. Yup, already trembling, saying what even is that guide him. Man, in this story, everyone's peculiar. Next day, there's our boy once again, silently arriving at school. He heads to his locker and Bullhead is keeping an eye on him. Remembering that Kong ordered him to find out everything he could about this kid. Guy's being stared at, and obviously he said, man, this is too much. But now he's questioning why he accepted something like this. Right when Jijuan opens his locker, he sees a phone inside. A memory pops up, man, he looks at it, picks it up, and sees there's a message saying congratulations. Someone's saying he received a free phone. It was old, but at least he could install WhatsApp, Facebook, and chat. The person says they'd listen to any problem he wanted to share, and asks him to send a message soon. He looks around and Bullhead hides, wondering if he's been discovered. But Jijuan looks the other way, and guess who's standing there with a little phone in hand, right? Just by the hair, you know. Yeah, she's clearly in love. He looks at the screen while she's standing there red like a tomato, waiting for the boy to message her. Bullhead's wondering what he's going to do, and then Jijuan just puts the phone on top of the locker and walks away. Man. The guy rushes over, grabs it to check, and sees it's an old model. Clearly wasn't him. He's kind of confused, wondering why Jijuan discarded it, and why it wasn't locked. But suddenly, someone shoulder checks him, man, and he hits his face on the locker. The girl grabs the phone and vanishes. The poor guy is all twisted, trying to figure out who that crazy girl was. Meanwhile, one of Yaina's friends is saying that her aunt has a poodle that had a baby, and it's too cute, and she wants to adopt it. But clearly, Yaina isn't listening to a thing. The friend tells her to stop zooming out and focus. Embarrassed, she says she is focused, but the other one already calls her out, says she's lying. Bet she's thinking about Jijuan, who's absent again. Blushing, she says no, she doesn't think about him like that all the time. But right then, her friend's face suddenly turns red too, calling out the name Jijuan. There he is, the badass, standing right in front of the man. One look from him and Yaina is already frozen there, not knowing what to say. She hands everything to her friend, tells her to wait there, and runs toward him. Out of nowhere, jumps in and gives him a hug dude. Everyone around is kind of confused, while Yaina's already crying, saying she was really worried about him and asking if he's okay. He had saved her, and that was something she would never forget. She would be grateful to him forever. Bullhead is off to the side, watching and seeing that it's confirmed the girls are in love with him. He decides then to make another note. The information he's gathered, he arrives late to school, most of the girls like him, and he still doesn't speak. That's it. With that, another school day ends, and there's our stoic guy walking home. On the way though, there's a guy on a motorcycle smoking a cigarette, just staring. Right away, he's sure. From the looks, it could only be the kind of bastard who likes to show off. He whistles, calls out to the one with glasses, who gets on the bike, man, and the two head toward our boy. One on each side corners him and asks if he's that guy Jejuan. Our boy gives that signature stare, right? As if he were gonna answer, right? And then the one with glasses says exactly that. Since he's not answering, it must be Jejuan. The boss wanted to have a little chat, so it'd be best if he got on the bike. The other one asks if he's ever heard of Kong Doyle from Haesun School. A legend to be at the top 3 as soon as he entered the second year. There's not a single bastard in this city who doesn't know of his name, and the school they come from, man, isn't a place for losers like the one they're studying in now. And it's that same Kong who wants to meet him, so it'd be good for him to hop on. But the boy does nothing. The guy tells him to stop being scared. He wasn't being called to get beaten up. It was just to hop on. This was still a friendly invitation. The one in the glasses asks if he's deaf, too, and tells him again to hop on the back. These guys are sounding like they want to get a little too close to Jejuan. Our boy starts to turn away, and the guy grabs his backpack, asking if he's really going to insist. Looks like he'll have to break both his legs, so he'll move. But Jejuan gives him that little stare, and the guy lets go of the backpack and walks off like he doesn't care about anything. The dude drops the backpack, saying that bastard is a freak, and both rev up the motorcycle heading toward him. But he had already gone into the alley, and the first guy tries to make a maneuver and slams his shoulder into the wall. The other one manages to handle the move better, dude, but Jejuan was already climbing the stairs, and the bastard comes charging. Man, is he really going up the stairway on the bike? Jejuan, though, just gives a little nudge to a trash bag dude, and then a kick straight to the guy's chin. Sends the idiot flying with the bike, crashes into his friend, both of them roll down the stairs, a motorcycle on the ground almost die, completely wrecked. Right away, the dude, dedicated as always, tells the other to get up and go after that bastard. He starts running up the stairs. Man, the kid is like a ghost. You see him in the corner, but when you get there, he's gone. Then you look to the side. He's going down the stairs, but when you grab the shoulder, it's just some other ugly weirdo. Poor guy even got the other one mad and took a free beating dude. Nearby was also Jejuan Batman Man, hands in his pocket, staring down at the two from above. Turns and heads home. Back at the bridge, the two idiots soften their tone, apologizing. Kong asks if the bastard refused the invitation, and the guys say that unfortunately, yeah, he was kind of sneaky, but they almost caught him. The big buff guy stomps, wanting to know how it's possible the two people couldn't bring in a single kid. The guy, all twisted, says it's because they got caught in a maze on a stairway and ended up getting lost. Meanwhile, Kang's just saying that the more he tries to catch this kid, the more interesting he gets. He asks some in if he found anything. There he comes with his notes all awkward, saying he observed all day, but isn't sure if it'll be useful. Kong takes a look. Late to school, girls like him, and he doesn't speak, then gives him a stare, asking if that's really the work he managed to do. The buff guy asks if the bastard wants to get beaten, and there he is doing push-ups too. Kong then says to let them go, but tells Bullhead he's giving him one last chance to bring that kid to the back exit of the school. He better at least manage that much, and Daesuk wanted to make sure he'd obey. Tomorrow, that kid wouldn't have a choice. He was going to meet him. The guy just responds that he guarantees it's taken care of. Meanwhile, poor Bullhead, man doesn't understand why he's getting involved in all this if he doesn't even know who Jae-jin really is. Next day, Bullhead is holding 2 grape juices, and the friends think he bought them for himself, but he just turns to the fool and says he'd never buy anything for an idiot like him. It's for someone else. A friend asks who it's for, and right then, Bullhead sees him from behind and already latches onto our boy, saying good morning to Jejuan and saying, as always, he looks amazing. Here's a little drink to help him relax. Our boy gives him a stare, and Bullhead says he's probably getting the wrong idea. He's not friends with those Kong guys or any of those gangs. That's why he's even there, to say thanks for him having taken care of those guys. Staying those fools getting beaten up made him feel good, and that's why he's offering this drink. But Jejuan, as always, ignores him and walks off. Bullhead knew it wasn't going to be as easy as he expected, but somehow, he had to bring this kid to the back of the school. If not, he'd be the one getting beat by Daesuk. The school day starts and there's our boy at his usual desk, calm, while everyone's messing around. He gets up a while later when the place is empty, while Bullhead is just there, watching. Looks like during the break, he's going to grab his snack and, as always, heads to his territory on the upper floor of Man. Once there, Mini Stalker had left her phone again and sent a little message asking if he was going to eat alone. The bastard hadn't done anything, and the girl's already trembling red. He looks at the phone and she's there, sending 200 messages, wanting to know if he always eats alone up there. She said she also sometimes likes eating alone and saw him there, and because of that, she wanted to talk. He looks to one side and then a message comes in saying she's on the other. He looks to the other and there's a little hand waving. Oh, that troublemaker. Being good-looking sure makes life easier, huh, man? He literally hasn't done anything and the girl's doing everything she can to chase him. God really has favorites, huh? Some are born good-looking and others born upside down. Then she hides her hand and apologizes, saying she doesn't feel comfortable meeting lots of people. She heard he doesn't talk much either and she's kind of the same. What she's curious about is why he doesn't speak. The thumb seems to be typing something, but then suddenly someone calls out to Jijuan. It's that bastard Bullhead, saying it's such a coincidence how often they've been bumping into each other lately. He came there to eat some bread alone, but since he ran into a friend, they could eat together. Our boy's just there, calm, sipping his little soda in total silence. Meanwhile, the Orium Stalker girl is just staring, hoping for a message from the boy. Then our boy looks to the side and sees Bullhead trembling and crying. He blurts out through tears that unfortunately he has no friends. That's the only reason he tries to hang out with Taksu and the other guys. He didn't want to be someone isolated, you know? He's scared of being alone. Maybe the two of them, who are both loners, should stick together. But man, Jijuan is just there, static, doesn't even look at the guy. Bullhead is nearly dying of frustration, wondering why nothing works on this dang kid. He even managed to force out some tears, you know, from deep down where there's no reaction. Then Jijuan gets up and starts walking away, poor guy. But the bastard grabs his arm and begs him to wait, desperately asking if they can be friends. But Jijuan just keeps walking, dragging the guy along. Dude walked off, slammed the door, and left him abandoned. Messages are coming to his phone from Dazek asking why they still haven't shown up and where the kid is. Bullhead is biting his nails, man. If he doesn't bring that kid, he's the one who's going to get beaten. So he runs out of the classroom desperate, saying he still has a chance. He looks around the classroom, doesn't see the kid, until he spots the lunatic sitting on top of one of the desks. Bullhead's already all red, wondering if the bastard is filming a commercial. Then he gets startled. Maybe it's another message from Dazek asking where he is. The kid gathers his courage and once again calls out to Jijuan. He says he's happy he's here. He sent a message to his mom who was really proud that he finally made a friend. She even asked to meet him downstairs because she wants to see who her son's new friend is. And he wanted, right, that he please respect that request. It's nothing serious. Jijuan remains silent while Bullhead is sure that any human would accept a request like that. He's not going to turn that down. He sees our boy thinking and believes he's contemplating whether to go or not. But to be honest, it doesn't really look like he wants to. Then Bullhead just pushes it, saying they're friends and it'll be quick, so no problem. But Arium is just watching from the side and yeah, the stalker is dangerously alert. So he starts leading our boy down the path, saying this is the fastest way to get there. While mentally, he's apologizing, saying that in this neighborhood, man, if you're too innocent, you won't survive. He takes out his phone, messages someone, and once again apologizes. And there's Daesuk, smiling as he receives the message. He walks toward the two and passes by, bumping his shoulder into our boy. Man, the kid would all limp and the guy already grabbed him by the backpack, telling him to be more careful and saying that walking like that, he's going to end up getting knocked over. What the hell, dude? Before our boy could do anything, the guy already yanked him by the backpack and slammed him into the wall. The guy steps in close and says it's a pleasure to meet him, grabs him by the neck and says he really does have a pretty face. Here comes another one. But on the other hand, it seems like those skills people talked about were kind of exaggerated. Until Jijuan puts his foot on his chest and pushes him back. Our boy lands on his feet, but the little phone he got bounces on the ground and was heading for the storm drain. He gets distracted seeing that, and at the same moment, Daesuk comes in to throw a punch. Man, he's forced to pull his arms up to defend, but even so, the impact hits hard. At least with that block, he managed to throw his foot back and knock the phone away from the drain. The guy clenches his fists and says it's time to finish him, stares him down and asks if he really thinks he can win with their size difference. And our boy's just there. As always, guess what? Silent. While Bullhead is off in the distance apologizing, saying that if he gets beat quickly, Daesuk will stop right away. The bastard comes running to shoulder charge him, but our boy just grabs his backpack and uses it as a shield. Still gets slammed into the wall, but it looked manageable. Daesuk then says that he's actually a little smarter than he looks. Our boy empties the backpack, the guy charges in again, and he pulls a flip to the side, tosses the strap around his foot, yanks from behind, and drops Daesuk flat on his back. The guy goes to yell, calling him a bastard, but then comes a punch landing right beside the skull. The guy freezes right there, huh, man? And then Daesuk sees the guy standing over him with a big old foot on the back of his neck and wonders if he's trying to act all high and mighty. Man, he tries to get up, but our boy throws in a spinning blow, whacking him on top of the head. And I don't know if it was once or if it was twice, but from afar, Bullhead is there, terrified, wondering how the hell he's beating up Daesuk. The poor guy already had his face more smashed than in a selfie, smoke coming out, not understanding what just happened. Then our boy just gets up, glances back, picks up the phone, but the bastard is coming like a monkey on two legs, saying this ain't over yet. Our boy turns around to try to defend himself, but ends up dropping the phone. Right then, he grabs it and says that from the looks of it, this thing seems important to him. All he came here to do was bring him a canned oil. It's a shame he won't be able to deliver the kid beaten up. Then he calls someone, the bike guys show up, and he hops on, saying that if he wants this phone, he'll have to go to Sijisha Park. His welcome party was already prepared. The bike grabs up and takes off, and right then, Bullhead comes up trying to make small talk, asking if he's hurt and what happened. He really was close to getting beaten up, but what's he gonna do now if those guys have his phone? If he doesn't go now to get it back, all the information could be leaked. He could forget about meeting his mom and go straight to the park. Our boy, as always, is just there in silence. Bullhead thinks, man, he did more than 120% of his job. He doesn't know if the bastard will go or not, but there's nothing more he can do. Then Jijuan gets up and starts walking. Since his house is in the other direction, Bullhead figures he's actually going. The scene shifts to our boy climbing a staircase, man. He walks past the burnouts there, all smoking and cutting their lifespan short. When he gets to the top, yup, a proper reception is waiting. Just a bunch of K-pop dancer lookalikes with colored hair and piercings all over their faces. Our boy, though, is just standing there, still staring at everyone. In the back is the bastard Kong Doyle, saying that finally something good showed up. He already shows the phone and asks if he came for that. Jijuan says nothing, as always, and walks toward him. Kong says that it didn't seem like there was anything important on the phone. Not a single saved contact and no call history. The only thing the damn thing had were some texts from a girl who seems to have her eyes on him, but considering he came all the way there to get the phone back, it must mean something to him. Jijuan stretches out his hand and Kong asks what it is. Was she his girlfriend or were they just messing around? Now he's super curious. He even sent her a message himself since he got kind of frustrated seeing the sweet talk between them. He didn't need to worry. What he told her would help things get moving. Considering that Stalker's already in love, man, he couldn't imagine what he could offer that she wouldn't accept. But with Arium, the only problem is that the message the bastard sent didn't sound like our boy. He sent a hey saying he was super lonely and asking if she wanted to meet him. If she went to the city park, she'd officially become his girlfriend starting today. Back with Kong, he says that if she shows up after seeing that message, then for sure she likes him. And after he scores that goal, he'll owe him one. Jijuan, though, is still there. Big ol' hands stretched out, not saying a word. Then Kong says he gets what this is. But it's guys that work hard to get the boy to show up, not to mention he'd be up Taksu. Even if he didn't like that bastard, they were friends once. So he tells our boy that if he came all the way there, he must understand that there's a price to be paid. Jijuan, guess what, still says nothing. And the guy says he's really a weirdo. Since he wanted the phone, the deal would be simple. If he can survive a fight against everyone, he hits it back. Seems like he doesn't understand how things work around here since he was transferred recently. The area had a very competitive ranking system. And the moment he hit Taksu, man, he entered the ranking. And now it's time for him to show how skilled he really was. That very second Daesuk is already in his face, saying it's time for revenge. He goes in to throw a punch. But man, our boy just sidesteps. Gives him a stare, and Daesuk says he really is a bastard. Then the guy yells out for everyone to go and dude. Our boy dodges the first one, steps to the side, clenches his fists, and goes to sock the guy in the face. But being all noble and heroic, he stops just before smashing another skull. Two others come from behind. He glances at them, closes his arm, walks but gets slammed to the ground. He falls between another guy's feet, who, man, actually lands one right in the face. At that same moment, another Cristiano Ronaldo's coming in for a header. From afar, Kong is just watching him get beaten and wondering why the bastard is only dodging and blocking. Apparently, he's not very interested in this ranking business. The guy next to him, though, says this weirdo isn't even screaming, even while getting beat up. Seems like he's willing to risk his life just to stay silent. Strangely, Kong says he's curious what kind of voice would come out of a face like that. I'm telling you, this place is weird, man. And then he yells to the guys, saying that whoever makes him scream will win a limited edition Jordan. The guys look excited, and instantly, everyone rushes to beat him up. Jijin is just tanking everything while Kang's yelling, telling him to hurry up and show what kind of skills he has. He was supposed to prove he was a rare item. Daisuk comes charging, telling everyone to move aside and asking where that fighting spirit of his went. Man, he lands a kick right to the chin that really drops the kid to the ground like a piece of trash. He's down there, all twisted up, until one of them picks up a rock and says he's gonna smash his head unless he screams. But out of nowhere, Kong Doyle gives him a smack on the head and asks if he wants to die for trying a cheap move like that. The guy apologizes, and Kong leans over to our boy, wanting to know if he actually likes getting beat or if he's hiding something. But he warns him, this isn't going to end until he proves himself. Bullhead is behind a tree of Yud. He followed our boy to see what would happen, and now he's feeling bad. Just like he expected, even if Jijin's strong, there's no way to beat an entire gang alone. But then, he meanies Orium approaching. Dang, dude, she actually went there. I told you this bastard is something else. He sent one message saying, come here, and you'll be my girlfriend, and the girl showed up. Then Kang's phone vibrates, and right away, he sees a message from her asking him to let the boy go. When he looks to the back, yup, there she is, standing with a little foam in her hand. Kang says maybe now he'll finally be motivated to fight. His little love interest showed up. He sends one of the guys after her, and the first one instantly steps out of the way. She's just there typing, sending a message, when suddenly, he grabs her arm from behind, already saying it's weird that someone so pretty would come all the way there. He pulls her arm, throws it forward, and says she's not leaving today. Bullhead, remembering she's from Orium's class, and that he's her #1 fan, is already furious at what the bastard is doing. But when he thinks about acting, dude, he sees the two of them talking, and just keeps hiding, trembling in fear. Then the guy goes back to Kong and says he brought her. Jejuan gives a look, man, sees the poor girl, they're all trembling. The boy too, he hasn't done a thing so far. Literally, this is the first time we can say the protagonist hasn't spoken a word, and these girls are just bringing chaos into his life. I never know if it's her or him remembering when she gave him the umbrella, looked back, waved her little hand, and now she's all messed up there. Is Jejuan finally gonna start taking this seriously, dude? The guys are all looking back, saying that yeah, the damn girl actually showed up. Then Daesuk steps on Jejuan's shoulder and asks if she came all the way there to become the kid's lover. Too bad, because now he was feeling guilty. That's because the boy was kind of frustrating, and he was having to be polite. Orium starts typing a message, saying he's just a friend and asking them to let him go. And then Kong, confused, asks, why the hell isn't she saying anything either? He tells her to go ahead and say her name, but she just trembles. Right then, Kong says it's ironic. Seems like the two of them are just alike. The guys around her are laughing, saying there are two weirdos there who don't open their mouths. Truly, the WhatsApp couple dude. Once again, Kong says he doesn't know how, but he'll give a reward to whoever makes either of them speak. Daesuk asks if it's okay for him to mess with the girl, and Kong says yeah. Then the guys already start circling around, saying that if she doesn't talk, she doesn't say no either. Why would they keep annoying Jejuan when they couldn't have way more fun with her? There's already one creep grabbing her hair, saying it smells nice. While the guy's asking what shampoo she uses, Jejuan's expression is changing, dude, and Kong is just watching, wondering what he's going to do. Will he keep holding back like that? Meanwhile, another dude's grabbing her chin, and from a distance, Bullhead is angry that she got caught up in all of this. Strangely, the weirdo holding her face asks what they're gonna do with that mouth. One of them tells her to scream, and that's when Jejuan sidesteps and takes a hit right on the chin. The guy next to him looks over, sees the fool falling, and in the same second, gets hit too. The pink-haired K-pop guy, man, opened his mouth and got smacked as well. Right then, Kong celebrates, saying that finally, Jejuan started fighting. Arium, on the other hand, is just there, frozen, not understanding what's going on. The rest of the group charges in, and our boy dodges the first punch, grabs one by the leg, goes to toss him. But the other grabs him from the side, he grabs him by the hair, slams him to the ground, punches him in the face. Another comes in to kick, and he grabs the leg, man. And right that second, Daesuk is coming while another guy is begging him to let go of the leg, dude. Our boy gets a kick in one guy's face, jumps toward Daesuk, dodges the punch, steps on his thigh, and takes a knee to the chin. But even before falling, bam, spinning kick right under the jaw. Kong is celebrating in the back, saying he really was a rare one. But man, that damned Daesuk tanked it and still grabbed him by the chest, said he was gonna crush the loser. But Jejuin just gave him a double elbow to the center of the skull, dude, a whole combo. That's when finally that bastard got slammed to the ground. I thought the guys would be scared, but nope, it charged again, and Jejuin had to keep dodging man, punch to one, kick to another, while Kang's there trying to understand where this kid even came from. He was really way beyond what Kong had expected. Then the blue bullhead guy in the back is yelling for that bastard to get on his knees or the little girlfriend gets hurt. But man, when Jejuin looks over, it's like he sees something from the past, apparently, even when he was little. This bastard already had girls chasing him and trouble following. The girl cried, calling his name, and that stirred something in the boy, dude. I thought he was gonna just deck the guy, but one steps forward and the other one's shaking. Then one tries to say something, and there's a guy coming from behind to hit him, but that guy just takes an elbow without even being looked at. Right then, Jejuin charges, the guy says, not to come any closer, but gets decked right in the face anyway. Already down on the ground, and now it's just like the taxi scene, man, Jejuin snapped and started unloading punch after punch into the guy's face. Then Kong in the back says that's enough, tells him to stop, shows the phone, and tells him to come grab it already, because he deserved it. The only price was that he'd have to join the group. That's because he just couldn't resist the things he wanted. Man, what a little villain this guy is, right? Still waiting for the first straight villain in this story. Our boy gets up, goes in with clenched fists, and Kong stretches his arms to the side saying it's over man. What does he think he's doing? He'd already had enough fun, so there was no reason to stare at him like that. But man, Jejuin just raises his fist. Kong glances over, and he's the one who gets into a fighting stance dude, leaves only the after image behind, steps to the side, and lands one square on Jejuin's chin. Damn, I thought he was gonna get clobbered by those goofy guys. Our boy hits the ground, and I don't know if he's awake or knocked out, but he's pretty beat up. Then Kong approaches and says he already told him to cut it out, throws the phone at his chest, and tells him to take it and stop being a pain. He calls for his boys, all beaten to hell, and tells them to leave man. The crew heads down the stairs, and everyone's wondering who that bastard even was. Daesuk's still fixing his jaw, asking if Kong really wants to recruit that weirdo who doesn't even speak. Kong, though, isn't really hearing any of it, because his lip's bleeding. He was sure he dodged perfectly. Even with the kid all beat up, he reacted fast enough to cut his lip. He really did have a knack for hitting weak spots. And obviously, Nami wants the boy for himself. Get out of here, creep. Meanwhile, back at the park, our boy sits on the bench. Now what? The mute couple is just there, staring at each other. He's sitting, she's looking at him, and he's not saying a word until she suddenly takes off running. Amazing. Once she's a little farther away, she says for him to wait, that she's going to get some medicine, while Jinjung's just remembering the moment the guy said to get on his knees or else he hurt her. He looks up deep in thought, puts the phone on the bench, and walks off. Man. What the hell? This groove is cold as hell. Bullhead is just watching, thinking that if it had been one-on-one from the start, he definitely would have won. Looked like someone really dangerous had entered the school. At that moment, he walks toward the bench and sees the phone. Right away, he remembers it's the same one he left on the shelf, and now he knows it was Aram who gave it to him. He starts wondering what's going on between the two of them, who she appears in the background, all desperate, carrying the medicine. He's unsure what to do with the phone, but decides he doesn't care, just grabs it and takes off running. Aram gets there and obviously sees the bench empty. Looks like a girl needs glasses, huh? Got within 10 steps to realize no one was sitting there. Meanwhile, Bullhead already vanished dude. The phone rings. It's Aram saying she bought the medicine, but he left, where his injury's okay. Bullhead's annoyed that bastard Jijin is leaving Aram all worried, and now he doesn't know what to do. Maybe he should just send a little message to calm her down. At that moment, Aram sends her name, saying she's from class 4. Poor Bullhead, he knows that better than anyone. Then she thanks him for saving her, and asks if they can start talking little by little. Of course, right, dude? Bullhead's got an opportunity like this in his hands, and now he doesn't know what to do. Maybe he should ignore it, but he'd feel bad. Or, obviously, he could just pretend to be Jijin for a little bit. And there's Aram, obviously seeing the message come in, and he just sends a knock. At least that sounds like something Jijin would send, except for the fact that he apparently would never send anything at all. Next day, bright sunny day, and in the middle of the alley, the friends watching the fight, man. Looks like Bullhead recorded the whole thing, and is showing it to him. The friend asks if that's not that mute student that he said was an idiot. Bullhead says, yeah, but that kid was way stronger than he expected. The friend immediately comments that the guy fights way too well. If he knew how to do that, he'd be super popular. But Bullhead is already thinking that the bastard was too popular, even that Dan Aram liked him. Now he's the one who likes Aram, and is mad that even though she likes him, she's being ignored. At the same time, of course, he feels relieved, but he's in a whole emotional mess. How could his goddess get rejected like that? The black-haired guy says they gotta put that fight on TikTok. That thing's gonna go viral. Bullhead says of course not, but the guy's already running off. He tries to chase after him, and ends up bumping into someone, and falls all twisted on the ground. He's about to apologize, but here comes the next K-pop guy who's gonna beat him up. Rank 2 of Baekdong High School, Kim Jinwoo. Almost Sung Jinwoo, just swap Sung for Kim. And it seems like the guy's well known, because Bullhead's already trembling, saying he's gonna put his badge back on. But he was all crooked to pin it back to his tie, and get slapped in the face for it. Apparently, the guy just gave a light tap, and kept walking. Meanwhile, the guy with the soup bowl haircut tells him to watch where he's going. The fool apologizes, dude. The friend asks if he's okay, says it didn't hurt that much. The buddy comes closer and says he got lucky, man. Kim Jin was known for being a maniac who loves fighting, so the fact he let him off easy was a blessing. That's when they hear someone calling for Ji-jin, and when they look back, there's Yina clinging to him, wanting to know what happened, and why his face is all bruised. Seeing that Bullhead just feels rage. That bastard was too popular. First Arya, now Yina. He doesn't understand why this damn guy is the god's chosen one. Then his goddess, speaking of her, walks by. He gives a little hey, just to be completely ignored. At that moment, he figures that to get close to her, he'll have to get close to Ji-jin first. Meanwhile, the friend's there with his phone, already posting the transfer students' fight to TikTok. Not long after, in class, the little bald guy is getting his head doodled on again. The dude drew an emoji on his scalp, and it actually looked kinda cute. Says that at least from that side, he looks better now. Everyone's cracking up while he's sitting there, realizing his leg's a mess. The guys even say that from now on, he's gonna have to walk backwards to have better luck with girls. And man, the poor guy had no choice. He's there in the hallway walking backward until he hits the stairs and nearly falls like a complete idiot. But it's fine, because Ji-jin shows up and saves him, dude. The guy glances at him and apologizes. Now that I stopped to think about it, why hasn't that bastard cut those two little tufts of hair yet? Must have liked them. Yina asks if Guman's okay, and he says yes. Even she bursts out laughing when she sees what's on his head. He tells her not to laugh, it's just an inside joke. She covers her mouth, saying okay then, while Ji-jin just walks off, dude. The guy gets emotional realizing that our boy never laughs in his face. The next day, we're in the gym, and man, people are always getting beat up in this place. Looks like a clean one of one's going on. Everyone's cheering, and the one organizing it is the Walmart son Jinwoo, dude. But the guy comments that this is getting boring. Seems like they have no skill at all. Then one of the guys hands him a phone and tells him to take a look. It's an insane fight. It's a video of the transfer student and looks like he wrecked a bunch of people. Of course, the post is already filling up with comments, and Kim Jinwoo wants to know if that kid is really from their school. Turns out he was pretty skilled. The guys next to him don't even believe it, saying it looks staged, like no way he's beating that many people. But when Jinwoo sees that the uniform is the same, he gets excited. That was a chance to gain a ton of views. Right away, he calls the group over and asks who there knows the new transfer student. The weird other says he's a kid who sits in the classroom next door, but apparently, he doesn't talk at all. Jinwoo asks which class and the guy says class 5, but warns him to be careful because there's a rumor that Taksu was hospitalized because of him. Obviously, Jinwoo already gets excited hearing that the kid he can beat up Taksu, turns to his friend and says they've got to get more info on that bastard. Poor thing. Here comes another one trying to get information. During break, the guys are calling Guman to go eat something. At that moment, our boy steps out of the classroom and Guman goes over to talk to him, says he bought a little bun and wanted to eat together. I think the two of them are heading to the upper floor while Guman says they should do this more often. When they get there though, boom, there's Bullhead saying he was waiting. Where the hell do these bastards even come from? Who knows, but now out of nowhere, he's got a squad. Bullhead wants to know why Guman is walking around with Ji-jin and Guman asks the same thing about him. The two are about to start arguing until Guman turns to tell Ji-jin to sit down. But with that, Bullhead sees the little face drawn on his head and of course, bursts out laughing, already asking why he's trying to make everyone laugh. Poor Guman says he's not trying to make anyone laugh. His body was living undeniable proof that bullying in schools was still real. It shouldn't avoid the truth. While they're having this little back and forth, Ji-Jin's just there calmly eating. Guman asked to take a photo for evidence, and just when Bullhead is about to snap it, his phone rings. Man, a little message from Ariam. Right away, he takes off running saying they can eat there. He's heading out. She had just sent a have a nice break while he's there all flustered, replying thank you. My god, man, it wasn't even meant for you. Still, he replied, you too, left the girl all red. Man, but the happiness doesn't last long. Right then, the door opens and in comes another enemy. Bullhead recognizes him as Jamin and wants to know what he's doing there. But the guy just looks straight at Ji-Jin and comments that people have been saying he hangs out alone during breaks and looks like it's true. He walks toward him, shows him a video and asks if that's not him. Bullhead sees that the damn friend's TikTok post has now gone viral. Duman's shocked, not understanding what's going on. And Jamin already says he wants to see if the kid's skills match the rumors, asked why he's just standing there doing nothing, then swings a punch. But instead of hitting, he's just kind of throwing it beside his head, asking when he's finally gonna do something. Since our boy doesn't react, he winds up for a real one and says this. Well guys, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, comment part 2 in the comments section. Also subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell and like the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.